Hey guys, today we're going to be looking at volume of composite figures, and basically what that means is we're going to have a couple of shapes put together. We got to kind of find the volume of the whole figure. So first thing we'll do is you guys are just going to need just a regular piece of paper because we're going to practice drawing the shapes and then finding the volume. So the first shape we're going to do starts with a cylinder. So to draw a cylinder, you start with a circle, draw a couple lines down, and then draw another circle at the bottom. Okay? Then we're going to top that with a cone. So from the sides of the sphere, just go up to a point. Okay, so it should look something like that. So now we're going to give this this object some measurements here. So we'll call this 4 feet. We'll say it has a height of 8 feet, and then the height of the cone, we'll call that 6 feet. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of start with the cone. I'm going to break out my calculator here. So my cone, I know, is volume equals 1/3 pi r squared h. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my radius, which is 4. I'm going to plug that in. And then the height of my cone is 6. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug all those in, multiply them all together. So 1/3 times pi times 4 squared times 6. And I get 100.53. feet cubed. Alright, so that's to my cone. So now I'm going to work my cylinder out. So my cylinder is volume equals pi r squared h. So pi, the radius, again, is 4. They have the same radius. The height on this one, though, is 8. So I'm going to plug those in. So pi times 4 squared times 8. This has a volume of 402.12. So now, since this is a composite figure and we're looking for the volume of the total figure, I'm going to take that 402.12 and 100.53, and I'm going to add them together. So 100.53 plus 402.12, I get a volume of 502.65. And that would be my final answer. Alright, so let's do another one here. We'll do another one where we're going to add some shapes together. So again, I'm going to start with a cylinder. I'm going to give it some dimensions. So we'll call this 8 feet. We'll say it has a height of 12. And on this one, I'm going to draw just a sphere on top. We're going to say that sphere has a radius of 15. So I'm going to start with the sphere first. So volume equals 4/3 pi r cubed. So if we put in our radius of 15 and we cube that, we'll get our volume here. So 4/3 times pi times 15 to the third. We get the volume equals 14,137.17, we'll call it, cubic feet. And then for our cylinder down here, we've got volume equals pi r squared h. So we put in our radius, which we called 8, and our height, which is 12. So we've got pi times 8 squared times 12, and that comes out to 2,412 0.74 feet cubed. So again, since we're looking for a total volume here, we're going to take those two numbers, 2412.74 plus 14,137.17. We're going to add those together to get a grand total of 16,549.91. All right, and then for our final one here, let's again, I like cylinders, I guess. So let's take a cylinder, and inside that cylinder, let's put a cone. So we want to find out how much volume is in this area outside the cone. So we got to give it some dimensions here. Let's just call this 5 feet, and this cone, let's say, has a height of 5 feet. So that would mean this cylinder has a radius of 5 feet, but we'll say that it's a little bit taller. We'll call it 8 feet tall. So we're going to have to do something a little different. We'll start with the larger, we'll start with the cylinder. So the cylinder, again, volume equals pi r squared h. Let's put in what we know, pi. The radius of the cylinder is 5, so let's put that there. And the height of the cylinder is 8. So let's find the volume of this first. So pi times 5 squared times 8, I get a volume of 628 and we'll call it 32 feet cubed. And then let's do the cone. So you can imagine we're like cutting this cone out of the inside of that cylinder. So this cone, we've got volume 1/3 pi r squared h. Let's fill in what we know. So the radius, again, is 5. The height of our cone is 5. Let's see what we get with our volume here. So 1/3 times pi times 5 squared times 5. We get 130 we'll just call it 130.9 feet cubed. So now this one's a little different because we're not putting the objects together. We have this larger object, this cylinder, and we're cutting out this cone from the inside of it. So we're actually going to subtract the cone from the total volume of the cylinder. So I'm going to take this 628.32, I'm going to subtract this 130.9, and then I'll get the total volume of whatever's left in that cylinder. So 628.32 minus 130.9 equals 497.42 feet cubed. And then that's all for today, guys. Thanks for watching.